Say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body. Because I am more than physical matter, I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world. I deeply desire to expand, to experience, to know, to understand, to control, to use such greater energies and energy systems as may be beneficial and constructive to me and to those who follow me. I deeply desire the help and cooperation, the assistance, the understanding of those individuals whose wisdom, development, and experience are equal to or greater than my own. I ask their guidance and protection from any influence or any source that might provide me with less than my stated desires.
Do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. Do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I am the void walker.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
Broadcasting live from a shack on a hill in the Mossy Creek bottoms of Cane Creek, Arkansas. This is Lighting the Void live. We're live on YouTube. It is Tuesday, March the 6th, and I'm stoked about this broadcast because we've been waiting for this one. We have Mark here with us tonight, and this is a friend and a neighbor of mine. He's been around my neighborhood probably since I was a kid and had a pretty tragic event happen to him. He was, I guess, attacked, accosted, shot several times, and I'm going to let Mark tell the story, but he had a pretty profound event happen to him, too, while he was in the hospital. So I'm glad that I got you on the show, Mark. It's finally here. It's good to have you, brother. Thanks for coming on.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, tell me first, before we get into like what happened, up to the point at the hospital. I know you guys up there at Forest Tower, you always kind of knew I did a radio show, so I ran into you not too long ago, and you said that, hey, man, I got to tell you, something happened to me. And this is kind of like after I got back home. You told me that, I know you've had a heart attack too, but you said you got shot and that you saw this stuff in the hospital. And I was like, whoa, dude, we got to get you on the show to talk about this. So tell us kind of how it all came to be. Like, why did this guy want to hurt you to begin with,
Well, we really don't know why this guy wanted to hurt me. He's been tested, but he's still going to stand trial. I guess he had a very mean soul. But now I will say this, first of all, I was believed in science, so I kind of, was leaning toward being an atheist. But that has all changed my life, for real. Because I was shot 8 times, and it's coming up on a year. This shooting has caused me to lose everything in my life. It took my life away. but it also gave me the sight of God too.
That's good.
I know, I know that I had not just one, but several out of body experiences. I did not know when you had those that you had to die to have something like that happen or close to it. But I can remember being in the waking up, leaving my body. It was the coldest feeling I'd ever had in my life. But
Okay.
somehow I was in the operating room and on my knees, pulling at their pants legs. I could tell you what color shoes they had on, what everything. I could even tell you.
Well, before we get to that, Mark, tell me, do you guys? I mean, I guess it's not important what led up to him shooting you, but he shot you 8 times. Like, where did you get shot at? If you don't mind me asking.
I got shot 4 times in the stomach, twice in the face, once in the back, once in the arm and leg, and I still have 1 bullet left in me.
Yeah. And what's the last thing that you remember after the shooting?
After the shooting, the last thing I remember was being loaded up. Now, I did tell the people that were there, I said, I'm dying, and I don't think I'm going to be back. This is it for me. Yeah. And being loaded up and put on the ambulance, and I remember passing by the Shell station. That was my last sight of consciousness, I would say.
Yeah, that's where that's where you and I know each other, because I always see you up there.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's where I'd worked for a number of years.
Hey, you trying fighting this guy back? Is that why he shot you so many times?
Well, he was breaking in, and I could have went out the front door and done something else, but he was coming into my back door, and my dogs were there, and I seen the crowbar, and so I actually had kicked the door open. One of my dogs had jumped up in front of the gun. He shot the dog, and that's when I had grabbed and pushed the gun down because he had it aimed toward my face.
Oh,
that's when he left off the 4 rounds into my stomach, and he fell backwards. That's when the 2 rounds went off in my face. And but I was shocked. He killed my dog. He shot my dog, and then turned around and shot for no reason whatsoever. No reason.
And from my understanding, I mean, I don't know all the facts, but this guy had already hurt 2 other people too before he even got to you.
They say I have not been. I can't answer that.
Sure.
That, but he has. Well, we had just seen him on one of the TV shows. In March, he was driving this truck, and the state police had done tapes of him, and he, like a 2-hour thing on him. This guy is an issue, is a problem. He does not need to be let off in the public.
Well, brother,
because he could hurt.
I promise I'll do everything in my power to be there on that court date on your side of the courtroom. I promise. I'll do everything in my power to be there.
I appreciate that, because being shot, people don't realize what the medical staff does to save you, and God steps in to help you get through it. But this guy, he took my whole life. I lost my home because I couldn't. I'm still not working. I can't work. And trying to get all these benefits, and it takes such a long period of time, you end up losing a lot of things. I had to give up a lot of things in my life now. I can't walk. I can barely drive. I've got a steel plate in my jaw. No, it did a number on me.
Yeah, I know.
And for what?
I know when I saw you.
No one knows.
I know when I saw you, I could tell that you were having a hard time, especially you wasn't talking the same. You looked a little different from the gunshot wounds and stuff. So, okay, all right. Well, we're all pulling for you here, Mark, and we are dying to hear what you experienced, because like you said earlier, you were you said you were an atheist, more of a scientist kind of minded
Yeah,
person.
I'm all into science and believing, science works. But there is a thing to that higher power.
So what
Because,
happened?
I do know that when my eyes closed when I passed the shell station, and I remember the last thing I heard was, "We're here, you're still alive." That going into the surgery, uh, I had the coldest feeling, and it was me leaving my body. And I had that feeling at least 3 times. At least 3 times.
Like how cold?
And it was freezing cold. I mean, cause I remember leaving my body, and it was so cold that, like, when I was on the ground, I had to shake it off, and then look around, and I did not know at first what was going on. But I was screaming, "I'm down here, someone help me, please help me." And just by chance, there was a gentle voice that spoke to me, and somehow brought me from the ground up to look down to realize, when I seen my face, what was going on. And why I was going to have to leave, and that person that did this to me was going to get to stay. And I had so many things I'm not finished doing in my life that I had a happy life. I had a good life.
Yeah.
I couldn't complain about it.
Yeah, you've always been a happy person, a positive, fun person, man. Always.
But this, and now the shoot, it took everything away from me. I mean, people don't know what it's like to have night terrors, because when that back door come open, he shot my dog. I felt the first 4 bullets go into me. 1, 2, 3, 4. I counted them.
Damn.
And grabbed the gun, tried to fight with him, and he stepped backwards, and he shot me in the face. I held my hands up. That's when I got hit. Those bullets bounce around and do a lot of damage in your body. Because none of them exited. They all stayed in and did their damage. I lost a spleen, a lot of my intestines. I got a damaged kidney that I'll be losing. I'm trying to hold on to it, do everything I can to keep it working. My teeth got shot out of my head. I always had teeth, good teeth. Now I got a steel rod in my mouth. Now I've got to try to figure out how to get those implanted in now. Someone with a weapon that has either a mental defect in their brain or something does not need to be let loose with a gun of any sort.
Man, dude, I just got to say, though, like, I was talking to Terry, Terry Campbell. I was working with him, and we were talking about you driving around while we were working on the house, talking about how tough you were, man. Like, being shot 8 times isn't a joke. That's not a joke, dude. Like, the fact that you lived through that, to me, is a testament of some kind of miracle. Maybe it was to catch this guy or something. I don't know,
It was a miracle that I lived, and I will say this: God saved me for a reason. There's a story to tell. I'm to do something better or help. I don't know. I keep looking and hoping I know what to do to do for right things to help someone the right way or whatever. But what this guy has done has made me the most humble, most, it does something to you. I can't really explain it, but
sure.
it's you become very insecure of your surroundings. I can't do large groups now. I don't, like if I run out of gas somewhere for some reason, which I had, someone offered me help. I couldn't even get in the car with them.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I mean, it was the scariest thing ever to happen.
Yeah, I imagine you got some trauma, and it's hard to trust anybody, at this point. But
going into large groups, I can't do it. I can't, I can't even go into Walmart or a grocery store without either having a lot of people around me just to help me get through it. Otherwise, I don't ask anybody. It's a feeling that you're so uncomfortable with.
Yeah. Well, man, we love you here, and I mean, I'm right down the road from you, so if we're here for you. You got a lot of people here that care about you in this community.
I would say this community here did me very well and thought of me, and I spent 3 to 4 months in the hospital. I think the first time I went was there 12 to 13 weeks, and home a week and back, because it was constantly surgeries. And still, I got surgeries to come still to this day.
Wow. Damn, Mark. And see, I haven't heard all of this, guys. I've only talked to Mark a couple of times just to try to get him to tell a story, and all right, so I'm just recapping here. The guy assaulted you, shot you 8 times. You tried to stop him from shooting you. He even shot your dog. What a POS,
He
man.
killed my dog.
And then
that dog meant more to me than anything in the world. And he killed my dog.
Well, I think I know Grant County pretty well. I can't say what's going to happen in the court date, but I got a good feeling about it, man. And you said the last thing that you remember was seeing the Shell station as they were taking you to the hospital, right?
Yeah. That was the last thing.
And what can you tell me, like, what happened after that? How did you know that? At what point did you know, like, oh man, like I'm out of my body, or I might be dead, or something like that?
When I looked down and see myself, and them working on me, telling me that I couldn't die, and that voice told me I could not interact with them, but they got me working and then back into my body. But each time I think it was a total of 4 that I had left the body, but each time it was the most cold.
I can't hear you, Mark. You sound far away.
Each time I left my body, it was the coldest feeling you could ever imagine. I mean, you'd be walking into a freezer naked, just to walk in, and the cold chill. I mean, because I remember shaking it off and looking down each time, and seeing my body and asking that person, well, I begged, what do I do to stay? What can I do? What do I need to do so I can keep my body? And I've got to finish things. I've got, I had goals.
Right.
And, but now on the 3rd and 4th time, that's when I seen the hospital was very busy with souls passing. I will tell you.
Okay.
I mean, you don't know when you walk by one, but I seen them for real.
All right. So there's a person or a being or somebody there telling you that you're going to be okay, but that's not a doctor. That was like a spirit or an angel or something.
That was an angel. It was an angel. It was an angel that had a voice that could calm your soul very easy, which he did with me. And, let me look down and think that I did have more life to me. But, tell me why I need to let you stay or not take you with me.
Really?
And, yes. And I I, everybody knows I'm crazy about my pets. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one thing. I run a mule that drinks Mountain Dew. That's 20-something years old. I have from day one. Uh, my old dog and my old cat that I've had for umpteen years that, always been my kids. And I just, I'm real good with my animals.
So
But
did you tell the being, I guess, that you wanted to take care of that's why you wanted to come back, was to take care of your animals?
I had nothing, no one to take care of that stuff. And how could I lose them or let them down? Because I promised that they would never go to a slaughterhouse or nothing be ever done with it. That they would always have pet quality life.
Yeah.
And I think that was some of the reasons, and that I just wasn't finished here. I was not going to let someone take me out like this.
Right. And then what after you told the being that, do you remember what happened after that? I know it's a lot, Mark, but
He, that soul, that gentle voice, we did make a sweep through the hospital. Him just showing me all the souls that are waiting for a place to go. There's a number of places, but there is a God, and for all the people that has done right and does well and believes in Him, you have a place to go. There is a place to go, and it's for real. It's for real. I got to see the outskirts of it, but I was able to come back into the human body for the next so many years, I hope, to finish what I want to finish and do in life.
So you said you saw a bunch of souls. So you saw just like people waiting around, or
Some souls had just passed, were coming, and there was other, I would say, angels to take them with them
yeah.
to where they were going. Some people were going back, but I didn't get to interact about like a personal, hi, how are you, that type of thing. It was, and I remember nothing, I didn't see my parents or anything like that. This was all about my soul and what I needed to do to stay, or if I could convince to stay, or was like, okay, I'm going. And, I couldn't leave those, I couldn't leave my pets.
Yeah.
They needed me more than anything because, I had asked God all along to please let me finish my life out with them, and then I'll go.
Do you remember what this being that was talking to you looked like at all?
They have no faces. It's not it's an image, but it's not, the voice is real. The voice is real.
Sure.
Even my soul, it was like you say, it's the soul. It's we're not ghostly, but there's not real truly a face to us. But I seen myself being worked on. I seen them. I seen what they did. I could even tell you some of the words they had used, and I could not connect to them because they could not hear me.
Wow.
And they even told me they can't. You're not there yet. If your soul, you're going to go back. You're going to get to tend to what you need to tend to and get the life that you want back. But
so let me just recap this and make sure I don't miss anything here too, Mark. So you felt a cold feeling. I guess there was a blank spot between the time you saw the Shell station and I guess the time you were in the hospital. Maybe, and you said you felt
they had because the last thing I remember was the shell station, and yeah, when they called the police, my neighbor had heard me hollering, and there was a police officer, a detective that showed up, and he told me, I'm not going to let you die, not on my shift. And they tried, the EMT tried to get an IV start on me. Well, the detective had to take a drill and drill a hole in my leg, which I had to hold still. And I still, to this day, have that pain that comes through and smell the flesh and the bone burning when he was drilling. But he helped save my life.
Why did he have to drill a hole in your leg? So what was that for?
So they could start an IV.
Oh, okay. Damn. And you felt all of that?
I felt I was awake for all that. I mean, it was a tough thing to hold your leg completely still, which I did. And he drilled, and they started that, and I remember them putting me in the back of the ambulance and coming down the dirt road and hit on the highway past the shell station, and really the very last thing I remember was red blood coming up out of my mouth, hitting the wall of the ambulance, and that EMT telling me, he goes, I guarantee you, you're not going to die, not today and not tomorrow. And, and that's all until they got to operating, cutting me open. And right when they started cutting me open, I think that was the first event of leaving my body. Because they said when I had arrived, my pulse respiration was, basically almost zero. But there was a lot of people promising me that I was going to live. I mean, that I was not going to die that day or the next day.
That had to have been the scariest thing in the world, brother. Jesus Christ.
Oh, it was, especially when those bullets hit my face. He was trying to aim for my head. All I could do was put my arms up. But, he blew my jaw apart. After all the surgeries and another day or two that I had that face surgery and neck surgery, my life will never be the same, ever.
You got to realize how strong of a person you are, though, man. Like, this is the most intense. I've been doing this show for 8 years, Mark. This is probably the most realist, intense thing I've ever talked about on this broadcast, ever.
Well, I mean, this is it's real. It happened. It's real. I still have the night terrors, the day terrors. I mean, here in like 4th of July or gun season during hunting season, I literally stayed shacked up in a room because there are certain shells that guns that go off that remind me of the day of the shooting, and I hit the ground. I don't know why, but I literally have hit the ground.
Well,
and I can't move.
You do have, you have my number, right? So if you need anything, I'm here, bro. Right. Like, you do have it.
I appreciate it.
Listen, I know these are tough questions, but there's so many people that want to know these things, and we do talk about near-death experiences on this show, and, this one really hits close to home, so you're saying when you saw this thing, it didn't really have like an image. It wasn't really a person per se. You could just hear it.
I could hear him. I could hear every word he said. Even when he said, "Come to me," I come up off the floor, and him telling me, he goes, "You'll go back, but look at the team that's working on you. You've got, But on the second and third time, I was tired of dying. I was tired of leaving my body. I was scared because every time you left it, it's that freezing cold, unreal feeling that, like you could just feel, because you could just, when it happened, I had to shake it off.
It happened. Was this all like
it,
4 times in the same surgery, or after a certain amount of time?
it was all the same surgeries. I mean, because they worked on me for hours, hours. I think I got there that afternoon, and they did not quit working on me until like 24 hours later. I
Damn.
mean, once they got me out, then you had to rush me right back in. It was I was going to say all the nurses, all the surgeons that worked on me, from UAMS to Big Baptist to St. Vincent's, I thank them. I thank them from the bottom of my heart, because they helped save me with the help of God. I mean, for sure,
Yeah.
I am down. I am down with God, and
So,
no one can ever convince me that there's not one. Oh, there is one. You'll know when it's your time or not your time.
so when you left your body, you came back to your body, and then you left again. I bet that was
Yeah,
kind of.
I was mortified, because I thought, because it was like, oh, now what's going on again? Why am I leaving? Where am I going? And it was like, oh no, I knew I was leaving my body. And when I looked down and seen them working on me, I was like, why? Why am I here? Why is that person that did this to me? Why are they not here? Why is they not? Why is this happening to me and not them?
Yeah.
What do I? How am I going to have to fight to live to put this person away? It is.
You wanted to make sure you got some justice on that son of a bitch, huh? I get that. Yeah.
I say, people say, well, what about forgiving? I can't forgive him. He knew what he was doing. He is a murderer. He tried to murder me for nothing.
Yeah.
To kill for fun. I find that, no one has the right to take anyone's life with a gun. No one has the right to take anybody's life. All these lives, we have no right to do harm to no one. Maybe that's my platform of we should do no harm to no one, and I mean that. No one has no right to take somebody's life.
Well, I mean,
or,
Mark,
do harm.
there's nobody that has a right, in my opinion, to say what you're saying more than you do right now. I mean, none of us are probably going to experience what you've experienced. It's probably not going to happen. And it's crazy. It's hard to even imagine what you went through. And I think what's bothering me the most is you explaining this cold feeling that you kept having to feel,
Yeah.
Like,
It,
was that
it,
spirit
it, it,
talking to you every time that you went out of body, like that you kept slipping out?
yeah. When I come out of the body, I could even hear him tell me to come to him. And I could remember being next to that spirit, that voice, and feeling very calm. That, I remember him asking me, why would you want to go back? Look at you. And I said, I still have so much to feel. I have so much. I cannot let something like this stop me, ever. I'm not going to let it stop me. But, I want to protect me. I wanted to know why this person did this. Now, I would say this is all over Marketplace, calling on ads on Marketplace.
This is all over a Facebook Marketplace thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I warn everybody.
You sound a
from the
little.
bottom of my heart.
You sound a little far away again.
That there was the starting of my nightmare. answering one of those marketplace ads.
What was he
And
trying to? You sound far away, Mark, again. But what was he trying to?
He was trying to first sell a gun,
Okay, gotcha.
and then it changed from a gun. But that gun that he tried to sell me was the one that he used on me. And then his truck. He had a truck, and I thought I might have a chance to get it, but I did not. But it was all. He was scamming. He was scamming people on the marketplace.
Oh my God, that's freaking scary.
And, this could have happened to anyone besides me. I mean, but I just had to be the right one to answer that ad. And will I ever do it again? No, I will never do it again.
Well,
it changed my life.
What else? Is there anything else that you want to? Because I know it's tough to talk about. Is there anything else that you want to tell us that you saw while you were, I guess, in between life and death?
The life and death, you've got to have a strong will to want to come back and live. If you leave your body and you have the chance to, believe in, like I said, I was atheist. I am no longer atheist. I do believe my parents had the right decisions in believing in God, and I think everybody should believe in their higher power of a God. There is a God out there. I think for the people who've done right, there is a place for you. So help me God, I know there is. Just like there'll be a place for me when it's time for me. But the thing is, no one has no right to take anyone's life with a gun at all.
Did you feel like that you were talking to God, or was it like someone that was a messenger for God?
I feel like I was talking to one of his angels. That, God sends you many angels, in many different ways people do not realize. They take human life, they can be human. There are angels that are human out here, people you just don't know until it happens, until you look, until you know, until after you die and come back, you figure out real quick what an angel is and how it comes to you, and they'll always be there for you. I did question God a couple times over this. Why am I having to go through all of this? But I've had a lot of people say, "Well, you're tough. You're getting through this." But I had to look. God gave me new angels in my life that are helping me to get where I need to be and back to be. But
what did he say? What did the angel or spirit say to you, like the second or third time that you kept coming out? Did he keep saying the same things, like keep asking you, or what did he say?
What is my love for life? My love for life is all life plus my 4-legged kids. And that's all I could tell him, because he goes, what is your love for life to live back, go back? Because some people think this is living hell. It's not living hell. It's God gave a creation of us humans to live a life and to make a family and do good things. But, there are some bad angels out there that will jump into your life that could cause you hectic. But God still gives you the angels that you need when you need them.
Now, how did you figure all this out? Did it just all come to you, or did they tell you all this?
When I first woke up from my first surgery, and I had been out in CCU for 3 or 4 days, I opened my eyes and I looked and I said, I've had an out-of-body experience, straight out. And everybody kind of like ran at first. They didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of thought, wow, am I crazy? I know what I had. I seen what I had. But maybe I shouldn't be saying anything.
We all know that
And
feeling.
then,
Yeah.
and then there was a couple of nurses that come in and said, you had out of body experience. Yes, I believe you. I know you did, because your body, you went through a lot, and a lot. You dealt with a lot while you were out, and so I just accepted the things that I used to have a pretty good smart mouth on me. I
Yeah.
don't know more. I'm very humble. I'm very well grounded. I don't judge people quickly. Try to be as fair as I could possibly be fair with anybody.
Wolf.
But
Wolf.
I but I do have after we're being shot and knowing that you died and come back and all this, it messes with your memory some. That also it scares the daylights out of you. I was scared of dying. I'm not scared of dying now.
That's good. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to get you on here, because the show's called Lighting the Void, and we want to know the truth. There's a lot of people that say all kinds of things, but you experienced something incredible.
Yeah, I experienced this. This is all true experience. Even my skin right now I got goosebumps on the hair of my neck standing up, and I can still hear that voice. It does come to me time to time. Why do you want to live this life? I love my life. I loved everybody around me. I mean, I was very happy, and for the happiness to be taken away, I want it back, and I will have it back.
There you go. Right on, brother. Yeah, I think Sir Wolf in the chat was asking, like, if you have felt that present sense, and I think you just answered that. It still comes around and talks to you from time to time, huh?
That present, there are times that certain issues, like I had a friend of mine who just passed away. At his passing, I actually felt it when he passed away at the hospital, and I was at home. Wow. When they called me, I already knew. I felt it. But he went home. He went to God. He went to heaven. I know he did. That man had a good life, and I reassured his family that I know where he's at. He's okay. He's not hurting no more, and he loves you all. But I don't talk to the dead. I don't see, like some people say, I don't, but there are times that you get intuitions or feelings when you go to, like pass by a graveyard, and all of a sudden you feel something, or I feel some lost soul or something, that I just want to say, you'll find your way home. We're here. They're there for you. Just look.
Yeah, I think that's a good message, too, because a lot of people feel, including myself, a lot of times we feel alone, and we wonder, what's going to happen. Because I've had an out-of-body experience. I used to talk to you guys about it at the store all the time, right? Like, which I think is really cool, because when this happened to you, it was one of the first things that you said to me. You just your eyes got real big, and you're like, dude, it's real. It's so, and I could tell that you had an experience.
Yeah, it is real as life is real.
Yeah.
And not everybody will experience it. I can't answer. I can't just say that, but I experienced it. I know other people have experienced it, and you can tell when people experience it. The look in their face, their eyes, their feelings, just the emotion that they give.
Yeah.
And how it affects them. I've always hoped that I would have, it done a positive thing for me. even though what was done to me was very wrong, that more is going to come out of this for me, and be able to do something about things like this. Start a group or something, or talk about it, or make new laws or something.
Yeah.
Because people who want to go off and just kill people for the fun of it should not be allowed to do that.
Oh, I think this justice is going to happen. I think it's inevitable, you know.
I hope so. There's times that I kind of worry about it, but then, I have to go, well, they have all the facts, all the true facts, this person did what he did for whatever reason. It wasn't because I done anything to him. It was just I crossed his path at the wrong time in the wrong place. I mean, they said he stalked me for 2 or 3 days. That's what was scary, and not knowing it.
When you were in the hospital, Mark, and you saw other souls, did they look lost, scared, afraid? Did they look like they knew where they were going?
Okay. No one looked lost.
Okay.
Some of them knew where they were going. Now, some of them looked like they were having their own little court to deal with, why they were going to have to stay or want to stay or go, or they just could not handle life and didn't want to go back. I don't know, but I remember seeing the small children, entities of children, and which upset me because I felt for them. I wanted them to go back to their parents, and but that soul told me they went back. That those children, there was just a problem during surgery, and sometimes we have to leave our body to let them do what they need to do.
Okay.
And that's the way. But you don't see faces, you don't see anger. It's a real serene feeling, a feeling of you're okay.
How long do you think you carried on a conversation with this spirit, this being?
This being, I would say, I can only say maybe a few seconds each time. It was not very long periods of time. Because it was a while before, because I'd bring it up every now and then around the doctors and nurses, and they wouldn't say anything. I guess they were scared to say that I had died and they brought me back to life. But, the only way they brought me back to life was they had God's help.
I was going to ask you that. Yeah, I was going to ask you that if the doctors told you that you died on the surgery table or if your heart stopped.
They would not. I had to point blank ask and then do the research and finding out that I had died. That's which was scary for me. I mean, because I lost a lot of friends over the shooting because they didn't know how to act around me or what to say around me or what to do. So now they just avoid me because they I don't know if they feel sorry for me or what, but they don't know what to say or do or talk or, how to handle it.
Are you serious? You didn't tell me this before.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I lost quite a few friends over this. They'll speak to me when I see them, but they used to come over, and I used to be invited over. That don't happen no more. They just don't, I don't know if they don't want, I try not to say a whole lot about it or talk about it. But, because of my mouth and jaw and all the still in my face, I don't sound the same and don't quite look the same, but you really can't tell a whole lot. But, every day there is somebody that has not seen me or talked to me wants to hear about the whole ordeal, from the shooting all the way through.
Well, I can tell you
And
that I do, and that the people that listen to the show do, and that we're your friends, and that I'm your neighbor and your friend, dude. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I don't look at you any different at all whatsoever. In fact, I feel like I'm closer to you now because not. I hate that this happened, dude. Like, this is the craziest thing. I would have never imagined this would have happened to anybody in this neighborhood, and like to anybody.
Oh,
You know.
I'm the same way because people have said, I would have never thought in a million years this would have happened to you of all people.
Right.
I said, I know.
You're the nicest dude, man. I don't get it. It's not.
And for this to happen, it happened for a reason. Maybe we can all figure it out someday. But yeah, this is, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy.
Sure.
If I had one.
All right, I'm going to ask you kind of a touchy question, and you don't have to answer it, but
Sure.
do you feel like that when you when you said, you felt cold and you went out of body and you talked to the spirit, do you feel like that this is the spirit that is from the Bible, or is it something more than we understand? Like, did you get any kind of a feeling like, oh, this is bigger or more or less than we understand, or anything like that?
I don't think we really understand. I think it's more. I think this was from the Bible. From the Bible, from God.
Yeah, I mean we're not religious on this show at all, but it doesn't matter. We just want to know the truth, and if that's the truth, then that's the truth.
Right. It's like like I first said, I was very much atheist.
Right.
I'm all about science and believing in science, and for science outweighs. Well, you take scales that science on one thing and religion on the other. Science tends to outweigh the religion.
Sure.
But God gave me faith. God's the one that saved me. I know He's the one that saved me. I felt it. I felt, the soul that He sent to me, the angel that He sent to me to help me get through back to my body. Because, if He hadn't sent an angel and I left my body, I may have never went back. I may have been a lost soul for someone taking my soul.
Yeah. It's been how long since the event happened? About a year?
Okay. We're getting ready to come up. 4/25 is the day that I got shot several times.
So it's been a little over a year. Wait,
it's coming up on a year.
It's coming up on a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're coming up just here 3 weeks.
Well, I think your message is important. Go ahead.
I wonder what I'm going to feel here in another couple of weeks, especially when I get closer to the date that it happened. But, God does good things for all people. So, again, too, there is afterlife after death. I know it. It may not be what we think, but there is afterlife. For the ones that have done what they can do to do good in life.
And you said that you were trying to talk to the doctors and nurses, or pulling on their pants leg or whatever, and they couldn't.
Yeah, I was pulling the pants legs. I was hollering. I was throwing things. I was kicking things, and I couldn't touch nothing.
Wow.
They couldn't hear me. Even that soul, that voice told me they can't hear you. You got another level of spirituality to be able to do what you want to do. Would I be able to meet that or not,
Yeah.
Well, I was but I don't know. I don't know if I would want to be that far in a realm of being able to be like a soul reader, whatever you want to call it. I do believe that there are people that can see spirits in human life. If that's what they choose. But my thing is, if you happen to pass, and God will just let you left your body, you see your body, and you're in a hospital and they're working on you, God's going to let you live the best way you possibly can. But there's going to be other, things that you may not live. But I was able to live, thanks to God, and God given the ability to all those surgeons to let me live. Because without those surgeons, they would, they had to have faith in getting to college and school to be able to save lives.
One of the biggest things that I hear in this community a lot is that we're on some kind of a prison planet and that life is a prison and all this other stuff. But from what I'm hearing from your message and what happened to you, that you even said it earlier, that you feel like that this was a beautiful kind of creation and that you wanted to live, that you loved life, right?
Yeah, I can't grasp about my life. We all make good choices. We all make bad choices. It's how you look at it and what you do with your life, and knowing that you're doing good. I mean, I enjoyed working. I enjoyed taking care of my animals and rodeoing, and I liked it all.
Right.
But I still, I had to say, I somewhat believe, I was aged, but no, I put God into my life. I put God into everything now.
That's great.
Just a little bit of God goes a long ways every day.
That's great.
And He helps me keep my sanity every day.
Right. Well, is there anything else? I mean, I'm not getting too many questions from the chat. I think people are kind of feeling for you more than, we are all a little curious as to what's on the other side. And I really appreciate you.
Yeah. I think the other side all depends on what you do here on Earth.
Okay.
How the other side is going to go for you. I think that God does the right things with the right people, and it all depends on what you do around here on the earth as to where you will go. And I do believe that there is a hell.
Really?
I believe that there's a hell. Yes, I do believe that there is a hell. I think for souls that are bad, for sure.
Well, I'm just impressed, man. I'm impressed by your courage, like your bravery, the fact that you're being vulnerable about it, that you're telling your truth, and even being honest about the trauma and the stuff that you've had to experience afterwards. I'm sorry that people are treating you different. I did not know that was happening. I don't know why they would treat you different. I guess. I don't know. That just doesn't make sense to me.
No, it does to me neither. But the thing I have to look at is maybe they don't know what to say to me. But now I had a lot of people stop by the store and see me and said, "Look, we come by to see you in the hospital. You didn't know we were there, but we were there." And and I thank them, because there was a lot of days that I was not coherent. They had me way out, in a coma, trying to get me through this.
Yeah, did you?
But
you didn't have any out of body experiences while you were. All that was just double checking here. All that was during your surgery, right?
All that was when I died through the surgeries.
Okay. And
the of course the night terrors are totally different because those seem to be real, but I know they're not real. Because it's a whole different type of I've even had nightmares of asking God what was going on, but that was nightmares. It wasn't the out of body experience of hearing that soul type of thing.
So do you still have night terrors now?
Oh, I still do to this day. They try to give me medication to knock them out, but it does not work for very long.
Yeah. Well, I know El Natural is asking in the chat if you have like a GoFundMe or something that I think the station helped raise some money while you were in surgery. I think, didn't they? But
yeah, they did. They helped me. I think it only helped me for so long, but then I was in and out of the hospitals, and now that I have, I lost my home, I lost everything, and having to stay in a garage now was at somebody's house that's helping me, because they had their own family, and I got to have my own peace of quiet. But until I can get everything, victim's assistance I've qualified for, but haven't seen anything, and Social Security disability, that's taking an act of Congress.
It's taking an act of Congress for you to get disability? Really?
Yes. I can't work. I can't bend. I can't sit very long. My back, my spine. I mean, all the doctors have told me that you can't work no more. You can't work at all.
Damn, Mark. Well, maybe we could figure something out and try to help you until you get, like I don't have a massive audience, but I do know that there's some good people out there that would definitely help out,
When I dropped my mule off, her name was Ellie Mae. I told her, I will be back to get you and bring you back home. Because I sent her somewhere to somebody's house that will take care of her. I can go see her. But I've had her for since the day she was born, and she's like 22 years old.
Yeah. Man, I'll tell you what. I don't want to keep you too much longer because I know, this is a lot. But is there anything else? I really hate to even ask. I feel like such an ass. But I also feel like
you're more than ask.
Is there anything else that you saw that you forgot to mention, or any other experience you had in between those states that you forgot to tell us about, or any conversation that you had with the spirit, or anything that
it was, me. I think it seemed to me like when I told him I liked life, I want to finish my life that I like out. And it was kind of like, well, that's the first time he's heard that, but I really, it was because of the animals. I mean, even at nighttime, I could feel the presence of somebody being there with me. All the way, all the way until September, October of this past year. And occasionally, I feel something from somebody, whether it be somebody's soul passing or someone I don't know. I'm not a soul reader, but I do feel things now like I didn't used to.
That's kind of cool. Although that could be kind of does it bother you? Like, you know what I mean? Does it?
It does bother me. It scares me occasionally because I'm not sure. I don't want to be chasing no dragons, and no dragons chasing me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I know I have another friend that is trying to who has cancer, who's trying to get the same things with the government and stuff, and he's having a hard time too. So it's different. I guess it's different for everybody depending on what they're doing, how they do it. But man, I got to say, man, that when I saw you at the station, I knew something different had happened to you. You don't look, and by the way, you look great, man. To me, you don't look. I know I could see where the bullet went in your like face, or I guess your jaw or whatever, but I don't. You don't look like a monster, and if that's what you're thinking, you know what I mean. I hope you don't feel that way.
Yeah. You cannot help but think, because even when I take my shirt off and then you look at all the scars,
Yeah,
and surgery scars, the holes in my stomach and back, and I still have that one bullet that moves around that I have to fill every day.
you still have one bullet in you. Sorry, you sound far away, but you still have one bullet in you.
One bullet in me that moves around, and you can actually feel it at times, be right next to the skin. And then it disappears and moves around, hits the spine, and causes ungodly problems.
Jesus, man.
And they don't know they could ever, because they try to fish it out. But it's like going fishing, they said. It's just, I think they grab it, they end up tearing up more muscle than anything.
Well, I think I appreciate you. I mean, if you ever want to come back and talk on the show again about anything that you forgot that you've experienced, let me know. But I really appreciate you sharing this with us, because this is the first time I've kind of heard the whole story, and it's pretty profound, man. Like going through what you went through, being shot 8 times, like. I guess you left your body 4 times that you can remember, right? And yeah, it's intense, man. And I appreciate you sharing that with us.
It's a true thing. It's real. So for real, it's alive.
All right, Mark, I'm gonna let you go, brother, and get some rest, and we'll be in touch soon, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, bro. I appreciate it. We'll be right back, guys.
that she spoke was a boy. And maybe it's because they had seen the previews on the TV screen. Well, this part is good and that's well understood, so you should laugh if you know what I mean, but it's all relative. Even if you don't understand, well, it's all understood. Especially when you don't understand, then it's all just because. Even if we don't understand, then it's all just belief. Everyone knows what went down, because the news was spread all over town. And fact is only what you believe. And fact and fiction work as a team. It's almost always fiction. In the end, the content begins to bend when context is never the same, and it's all relative. Even if we don't understand, then it's all understood. Especially when we don't understand, and it's all just because. Even if we don't understand, then it's all just believe. I was reading a book, or maybe it was a magazine. Suggestions on where to place faith, suggestions on what to believe. But I read somewhere that you've got to beware. You can't believe anything you read. But the good book is good and that's well understood, so don't even question if you know what I mean, but it's all relative. Even if you don't understand, well, it's all understood. Especially when you don't understand, and it's all just because. Even if we don't understand, then it's all just belief. But there you go, once again, you missed the point, and then you point your fingers at me. And say that I said not to believe. But there you go, once again, you missed the point, and then you point your fingers at me, and you say that I said not to believe. But I believe. But there you go, once again, you missed the point, and then you point your fingers at me, and you say that I said not to believe. I believe. I guess it's all relative.
Alright, let's wrap this thing up. I guess I just wanted to say real quick, thank you all for coming out tonight and listening to Mark's story. It's taken a minute for me to get him on the broadcast, so I didn't know that. It's really profound to me that people are treating him different. Like I said, the only things that I've gotten to say to him before this broadcast was, hey, when are you going to come on and talk about your stuff? Because I wanted everybody to hear it the first time like I did. The only things that I heard before bringing him on is that he passed away or he crossed over a few times and what he saw and what he experienced. And man, that's pretty intense. You know, getting shot 8 times. Now he's got all this trauma and night terrors and stuff. And I think El Naturel's got a pretty good idea. Maybe we could help him. We could set something up for him to help if he needs help to get him going. It sounds to me like he needs, you know, more friends around here. So I'll keep you guys posted. I'll keep checking in on him and trying to get him help too. So that's a pretty crazy, like, story, like a profound experience, right? I mean, the guy said he talked to a spirit. First he said, which I've never heard this before, but I don't know what it's like. None of us really know what it's like until it actually happens to us, right? You can't say you know anything until it actually happens to you. And the experience that he had changed his life. I mean, he didn't believe in anything but science. And I do remember going up to the store and talking to him, and, you know, they'd be like, what are you guys talking about now? Paranormal stuff or the out-of-body stuff? They never gave me too much shit, but you can always tell, you know, it was kind of a weird topic to talk about. But I think that I never in my life thought that anything like that would happen to any of my friends or especially anybody in this neighborhood or anything like that. So really want to send a big, big thank you to Mark for coming on. And this reminds me of the same things. Like, there are people out there that really either have experienced some kind of truth that's happened to them or need to know the truth. Like Gareth, you know, Gareth is another one who's kind of in his own fight, right? So I do want to say that I probably, for a little while at least, won't be broadcasting as much. I usually try to do 3 times a week, but it's getting to the point where it's like not that practical to do so. Like, the balance of practicality versus having to, you know, do that. It has to work the other way around. But the good news is with me broadcasting a little less, I'll be able to focus on better content for you guys, right? So, but that is, I will say that is the realest. I'd have to really sit down and think about it, but that is probably one of the realest and most intense experiences I've ever heard of, you know, on this show at least, of like experience and death. You know, he went through a scary death, man. That nobody wants to die like that. That, to me, that's almost like being drowned or burned, you know, shot 8 times. That's crazy, man. Also too, yeah, I will be going. I'll do my best to go to his court date and let you guys know. I don't even know who this guy is. There's rumors around. I don't know it for a fact, but there's rumors around that he had hurt 2 other people, you know, before he met Mark, before he even got to Mark. So this guy, I guess, was going around on Facebook Marketplace, possibly trying to find people that he could bully or trick or figure out some stupid piece of shit thing that he could do to people. And I guess he figured out that he thought that Mark was one of those nice people that he could take advantage of. And then when Mark didn't give him his way, I guess he just decided to try to kill him, you know. So I don't know. It's pretty trippy. I don't know the whole story, but when I go to the court date, I'll know the whole everything, like after that. But anyways, I think we're going to get out of here. If you guys want to support the show, please do so. If you want to support Mark, like I'll tell you this, if you send anything via YouTube, it's the easiest way to do it, but it takes a month and they take like 30%. I'm just telling you guys. I don't think I'm going to get in trouble for telling you guys that, but it's the truth and you want to know the truth. If you want to send something for Mark and you donate, put in the notes, especially if it's like PayPal, whatever it is, just put in a note or email me or contact the show and say, hey, this is for Mark, right? And I'll make sure that he gets it. Okay. You know, I'll tell you just a quick story before I let you go. Mark was a guy that in this neighborhood, I didn't know that very well. I'd say hi to him. We'd have conversations at the store. I know that he worked up at the taxidermy. I know that he took care of animals, or at least I think I saw him at the taxidermy. We used to have this big like taxidermy up there. We had tigers and ostriches, all kinds of weird crazy stuff that you wouldn't think that would be out here. I remember going hunting in the woods sometimes, and I could hear, you know, that tiger like roaring and stuff. It was crazy sounding. But he's a good guy. He loves animals, and he's always either been up at that Shell station, Forest Tower Food Mart is what it's called, or worked up there. So when I got back home and I saw him just saying hi, and then he had these big old eyes, and he wanted to tell me, man, everything that you guys talk about on that show is like real. I really wanted to get his story. I just didn't know it was that. I had no idea that it was that real. You know, like, that's pretty freaking scary. So, yeah, anyways, I'm going to try to broadcast at least one more time this week. And next week, Jason Quitt is supposed to come on. He sent me his book to read. He's about to release a book about his astral travel experiences. So if you're a podcaster that listens to the show, which I know that we have a lot of podcasters that kind of frequent the show, you need to get Jason on, because I think this is going to be one of his better books too. And he'll be on the broadcast soon too. And I'll try to get another one out this week. And if you guys need me, you know where I'll be. Hit me up in the Discord. You can DM me there, whatever you want to do. I hope you guys enjoyed the broadcast tonight. I don't think there's anything else that I want to talk about tonight. Yeah, I'm just taking all this in. You know, and the fact that he's still having night terrors. And I'm bothered. I'm a little bothered that people treat him different now. I don't know why. He doesn't, I mean, his face looks different, and he definitely sounds different, but that's not a reason to not hang out with him anymore. Whatever, man. I don't know. Maybe they don't like the fact that he's talking about real stuff, and it makes them uncomfortable. It takes them out of their comfort zone, you know? Who the hell knows? We try to keep it real here if we can. Love you guys. See you in the Discord and on the next broadcast. Night, sweet dreams. Thanks for hanging.